Hey guys, this is Jason from Jason Brookman Photography and 10 Dimensions Media, and today I'm going to take you into the inner workings of my studio. This is my little studio slash bedroom in here, and you know, we don't always have a lot of space to have a studio to be able to do our work, and sometimes we want to be able to do video and photography, and so I have kind of a conversion set up here where I'm able to go quickly from video to photography and actually create a photo studio in here. As you can see, this is the backdrop that I use for my YouTube videos and also for corporate videos, corporate stuff that I've been doing, and it works really well. And I've also converted this into a photo studio, although it can be kind of challenging with longer focal lengths. Like if I'm using the 50 to 140, probably going to keep that thing at 50. Able to use the 56 in here, but to get full body shots can be kind of challenging. But I'm going to take you into my setup, basically what it cost me, kind of roundabout, to put together the studio, and it really does not cost that much. But let me take you into my video setup. I have my my backdrop, which I actually use for my videos, but it's also really great. It's a gray backdrop, and a gray backdrop is very neutral. If you want to use color, like you see I'm using the blue light right here, it's really great because you can reflect any color on it. It's not dedicated to one particular color, so I can use blue or red. I prefer blue. You can use some neutral colors, kind of like oranges and stuff like that I've seen people use that are actually really cool. So the gray backdrop, because that's what I use, it's very versatile. The backdrop itself, I think, was about, or the roll was about $70. The mounting system, you can get the multiple roll system, and that is, it's a little bit more involved when it comes to installing it. This thing was really quick, and not that easy, but it was quick because you just have to kind of align them up. You have to, there's two like bracket things, thingamajigs, thingamabobbers. The one thing that is kind of difficult with my situation being in an apartment setting is that we have hardwood floors all throughout the apartment, but not in the rooms. So I have carpet, which is making it very difficult for me to have flooring. I wanted to actually put some wood paneling, or actually some door paneling, which is really inexpensive. It's actually very thin, kind of like a plywood. Get two of them, like a 6x9, and put them right here, and you actually would have a floor. But right now I can't put the paper all the way down. So normally what you would do is you would swoop the paper down like this and people could step on it. But when you have carpet, it's going to make holes, it's going to rip the paper, that kind of stuff. So I have this cheap backdrop, kind of a rug thing that I put down on the floor, and it doesn't work very well. So you got to work with what you got, but you know, it takes a little bit more time in post to kind of take those things out of there. So you kind of want to mitigate that by making it look good to begin with. You know, you don't want to have to use Photoshop or you know, use different techniques to try to get rid of things that really don't look good. So that's my backdrop, and the lights that I'm using for my videos, I have two Great Video Maker lights, or GVM lights. It's this light right here, and which I have as kind of a backlight, and I have that, it's a little kind of an orangish yellow tint to it for the back of my head, to kind of separate me from the background. And then I have this light right here, which obviously emanates that blue light to kind of make it a little bit interesting. And what I'm using as my main light for video is a ring light. And I'm going to talk about, when we get into photography, the ring light is really cool for photography. I was watching a YouTuber by the name of Jacques Gaines, who is also a Fuji shooter. I think he shoots with Sony as well. But he was talking about using a ring light, and I just so happen I have two speed lights. One of my speed lights went out, and I didn't have another light. And I did a bunch of shadow work and was playing with one speed light, which is great, but I wanted to fill in the spaces a little bit more, so I used the ring light. I remembered what Jacques Gaines said, and kudos to him for doing that, because I really enjoyed the catch light, and the constant light allowed me to decrease the power a little bit on my speed light and get some really even light around the subject, so it was really great. I also just happen to have a window right over here that emits a really great light, so when I was opening that, I would kind of play with the amount of light that I was letting in, and I was able to get, you know, some really great light, really great even light. It looked like I had like a, you know, a 42-inch softbox in here, but really what I only have is I have one like 30, I think it's like a 32-inch softbox. So I'm gonna recap my video setup for you. The backdrop with the mounting, the floor, I don't really have a good floor yet. And then I have the two great video maker lights and the ring light. And now we're gonna get into photography. And this is my photography setup. Before we get into photography, I want to talk about a very, very important element to videography that needs to be addressed, and that is sound. I use a Rode lavalier system. So you see this little guy right here. Very small, very light, very easy, and sounds great. That's when I'm doing maybe a more run and gun thing or something like this, where I don't want to be at a desk in front of a microphone. Otherwise, I'm using the SM7B from Shure as my vocal mic or my voiceover mic or my podcast mic. Great podcasting mic, great vocal mic. But we need to address audio when it comes to doing video work. If you don't have good audio, chances are some of the more professionals out there that want to see your content and you have great content, great visual content, might get bugged by not having great audio. I know that if I hear a lot of room sound and a lot of reflection in the room that somebody's speaking in, it might deter me from watching the whole video. So it's just a really, really important tidbit on video. So now let's get back to photography. This is my photography setup. So basically what I do is I just move my desk over to this area right next to the window, and I have a really bad makeshift backdrop as my floor. This is something that I definitely want to update. So gray, again, is very versatile for photography. Bring your subject a little bit further away from the gray backdrop and you can create more darker backgrounds. You can bring your subject closer to the background and you can create some shadow work that's really cool. You can also direct light directly onto the background, and because it's neutral, it's gray, you can even create brighter background. So it's really, really neutral, even more versatile than black or white. So gray is just a great versatile backdrop. If you only want to have one backdrop, it's great. This is actually a great setup for headshots. And let me talk about the lighting that I'm using. What I'm using is this Godox softbox. It's a cheap softbox. It came in a kit. It was like literally less than 60 bucks. So I have that for one of my speed lights, and then my other speed light I have right here. And I'm using the Gary Fong, and the reason why I'm using this is because it's such a small room with white walls, I can bounce light off of this wall, use this softbox on this side, I'm gonna get even really soft light from both sides. I can also bounce it off the ceiling if I need to, and then I'm using this reflector right here if I need to bounce a little bit of light coming up. And I also have a window right here, so you kind of want to play with what you've got. Now the last shoot that I had, I actually wanted to use both speed lights, but this speed light just so happened to, and guys, this word to the wise is make sure you have batteries. This thing ran out of batteries. I didn't want to go out and go search for batteries, so what I did was I remembered a YouTuber by the name of Jacques Gaines, and I think I talked about this before. He talked about the ring light. Now I used the ring light for photography because it allowed me to get the catch light, but not only that, but it's the only light I had besides this window. So I had my speed light on one side and I was using the ring light as a catch light, and it makes a beautiful catch light in the eye. And thank you, Jacques Gaines, for actually giving me that little tidbit of information, because it worked really well in a pinch when I didn't have anything else to use. So let me do a recap on my photography setup. So we have the backdrop, not that expensive. We have the mounting system, really inexpensive. We've got these speed lights. Each one of these speed lights is under 120 bucks. So I've got two of these. And the ring light, the only other thing would be the flooring. And if you got those two wall panelings, each one of those is about 20 bucks. So it's about $40 for that setup. I forgot about this. This thing, just under 60 bucks. Maybe a light stand, and maybe a tripod if you're using a tripod. So I have you mounted on a really nice Suri tripod. This is another Suri tripod right here, which is less expensive. The great thing about these is actually these can be broken down into a monopod, and same thing with the one that I'm using for video. But guys, basically that's it. And you can turn, you know, an apartment, a garage, or whatever into a really inexpensive photo studio, both for video and for photography. I hope this helped, and I hope you got a lot of good information out of this. And if you have any questions, comments, feelings, or thoughts, leave comments in the section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time.